Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's call with Congressman Tom Kean. During today's event, we'll be taking questions from constituents like you. So if you have a question on your mind, please press star 3. And during this call, you can also sign up to receive the Congressman's newsletter by pressing star 6. So again, press star 3 if you have a question and star 6 to subscribe to the newsletter. And with that, I'll now turn it over to Congressman Kean. Congressman, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Dirk, and thank you all for joining this afternoon's town hall. This is my 10th telephone town hall since I took office in January 2023. They are a great way to stay connected and engaged with all of you. To ask a question during this call, please press star 3 on your keypad. You will be connected with a member of my team who will ask you for some basic information before adding you to our question lineup. My office has also canvassed the public through the online sign-up form for questions. It gave us a good idea of what topics you most would like me to address. Before we get to your questions, I want to share several updates from my work for you in Washington and here in New Jersey. We're going to take as many questions as we can this afternoon. First, I want to highlight some of the critical issues that I've been working on in Washington, D.C. and here in Jersey. First, I want to address the recent and very significant developments regarding the United States' military action in Iran, a matter of great importance to both our national security and global stability. On June 21st, the United States, at the direction of President Trump, and with the unmatched precision of our men and women in our armed forces, carried out a successful series of targeted strikes against critical nuclear sites within Iran. These operations were conducted to prevent the Iranian regime from advancing its dangerous nuclear weapons program, a threat that has destabilized the Middle East for decades and endangered our allies, including Israel, as well as the interests and the security of the American people. This decisive military action came after years of Iran violating international agreements and ignoring warnings, even several offers of diplomatic dialogue from the global community. Intelligence assessments confirmed that these facilities were being used to develop and store materials that could lead to the production of nuclear weapons, posing an unacceptable risk to regional peace and global security. This action was not taken lightly. It was a result of clear evidence, deep deliberation, and the resolve to protect innocent lives, not just in America, but across the region. The United States sent a clear and unmistakable message. We will not allow hostile regimes to deliver weapons of mass destruction that could threaten free nations or destabilize world peace. I fully support the brave service members who executed this mission flawlessly, and I remain committed to ensuring that Congress provides our military and intelligence agencies with the tools that they need to keep America safe. I also believe that this strike opens the door for a new diplomatic chapter, one that prioritizes peace and security for all nations in the region. As we move forward, I will continue monitoring the situation closely and will be working with my colleagues in Congress to ensure that American strength is coupled with thoughtful leadership and clear commitment to peace. Let me be clear. The best path to peace is through strength and resolve. The world is safer today because of these actions, and the Iranian regime now knows that the United States will not tolerate threats to freedom and to security. Last month, the House of Representatives passed a historic legislative package that delivers long overdue relief to New Jersey taxpayers. This legislation cuts middle-class taxes. It strengthens border security. It boosts American energy production, and it roots out waste and abuse in federal programs. In contrast to the Democrats' empty promises to provide SALT relief, I fought for and achieved a full restoration of the state and local tax deduction for every middle-class family in New Jersey's 7th Congressional District. In this bill, families can now deduct up to $40,000 in state and local taxes. That is an essential change that puts thousands of dollars back into the pockets of homeowners across our communities. This victory delivers long overdue fairness for New Jersey taxpayers and ensures that residents in high-cost areas are no longer penalized simply for where they live. Also, I'm working to protect the integrity of the Medicaid program by ensuring that benefits only go to the program's intended beneficiaries. Despite Democrat fear-mongering, this bill makes 3 common-sense reforms to prevent fraud and abuse. This bill would ensure that Medicaid benefits are only going to those who are eligible. Only last year, President Biden prohibited states from verifying eligibility more than once a year. This executive action allowed those whose income had increased or whose circumstances had improved to remain on the Medicaid rolls even when they were ineligible. Our bill would require states to verify Medicaid eligibility twice a year, which would save states and the federal government over $100 billion. Some states are also taking advantage of a loophole that lets them use your federal tax dollars to pay for Medicaid services for illegal immigrants, sometimes for up to 3 months, by dragging their feet on verifying citizenship status. This bill would require that states verify citizenship before receiving any federal Medicaid dollars. If the person is a citizen, the state will get every dollar that it would have received during that verification period. That ensures that no eligible American loses access to care while protecting around $800 million of taxpayer money from being misused. It is irresponsible to allow illegal aliens who have not followed our laws to draw down benefits meant for the vulnerable Americans that this program was originally designed to serve: our seniors, pregnant women, children, families, and those with disabilities who depend on this vital safety net. This big bill also makes clear that individuals receiving Medicaid benefits who are under 65 years old, who are able-bodied and have no dependents, must contribute to the community for at least 20 hours per week, whether that's through pursuing education, employment, or volunteering. However, it acknowledges the challenges some beneficiaries face in meeting this requirement. Exemptions are provided for pregnant women, children with disabilities, individuals with disabilities, seniors, parents, caregivers, and those battling substance abuse disorders or serious medical conditions. To make individuals as seamless as possible, the bill allows states to verify community engagement using existing data such as payroll records. In fact, New Jersey already uses a similar verification process through its Medicaid workability program. Finally, I fought to preserve certain critical supplemental payments from the federal government, an important financing tool that hospitals, nursing homes, and other health care providers rely on to serve Medicaid patients. Under this legislation, any supplemental payments established by New Jersey prior to its enactment are fully protected and guaranteed. These reforms strengthen the program for current and future generations while protecting the interests of New Jersey taxpayers who expect accountability and fairness in how public funds are used. The reconciliation package is now over in the Senate, and I will continue pressing our senators, Cory Booker and Andy Kim, and every other member of the Senate to support the SALT deduction. I am pleased to lead this effort and will keep updating my constituents on any movement in the upper chamber. Since our last town hall, I've authored several pieces of legislation. One that I want to highlight is the No Shorting America Act. The bill would prohibit members of Congress, as well as spouses, from entering into any short-selling positions or betting against the American market. That means no shorting stocks, commodities, futures, no wager that the economy will falter. The goal is to help ensure honesty in public service by eliminating any conflict between one's private financial positions and one's responsibility to promote a thriving economy. We can help restore public trust by ensuring that elected officials cannot bet against the American economy while they are entrusted with building it. I asked Congressman Andrew Craig, a Democrat from Minnesota, to co-lead this bill with me. We filed the bill earlier this month. It is now under consideration in the House Committee on Financial Services and will require continued bipartisan support to advance. Public confidence in our government hinges on the belief that lawmakers make decisions for the common good, not for personal gain. By eliminating opportunities to bet on negative outcomes, this bill strengthens the ethical wall between public service and private profit. I had the privilege of hosting my annual Service Academy send-off reception on May 28th at Raritan Valley Community College. We celebrated 16 exceptional students from across our district who received both congressional nominations and appointments to our nation's prestigious service academies, including West Point, the Naval Academy, and the Merchant Marine Academy, as well as the Air Force Academy. These students represent the very best of our community. They are scholars, athletes, leaders, and future officers poised to serve our country. Congratulations to the 16 students on this impressive achievement. And I want to thank these young men and women for their embrace of duty, integrity, and sacrifice. They will undoubtedly make New Jersey and America safer and stronger. At the reception, the Academy representatives also provided information to help the next class of high schoolers understand the nomination process and admissions process. My office has opened the 2025 nomination application cycle with a deadline set for October 17, 2025. If your child is interested, please reach out soon so we can help guide them through the nomination process. Workforce readiness and training for the skilled trades is another cornerstone of my economic priorities. On June 3rd, I had the honor of hosting U.S. Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez de Rima to the Northeast Carpenters Training Center here in New Jersey as part of her America at Work tour. The visit showcased a real model of public-private partnership. The tour showed how strong partnerships between labor, industry, educators equip students with the skills, leadership, and safety training that they need to succeed. I highlighted how this training center plays a critical role in growing our infrastructure, our economy, and our workforce. With aging infrastructure and shifting demands, investing in vocational training and apprenticeship programs is a practical, job-rich alternative to traditional four-year degrees. Opportunities such as these help our economy meet these emerging needs. Our firefighters and our first responders who run towards danger deserve our full protection. And that is why I'm in partnership with Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan. We have reintroduced the PFAS Alternatives Act. This bipartisan initiative addresses the scourge of forever chemicals found in many turnout gear uniforms, a known health risk that's linked to cancer and other serious illnesses. Our bill will remove this unnecessary occupational hazard and help protect firefighters as they work every day to protect us. As I have long said, firefighters' jobs are already dangerous enough, without worrying about the long-term health risks being exposed to dangerous PFAS in their turnout gear. Under this bill, we can direct full federal research funding, encouraging innovative manufacturers, and ultimately giving our frontline heroes safer equipment. Now, I want to have some important notes from right here in this district. I'm pleased to report, as of the middle of last month, my office has returned more than $20 million to constituents across the 7th Congressional District. Among these recipients was Wharton Arts, which received $900,000 through the Employee Retention Credit, enabling them to sustain arts programs that enrich young lives across our community. I also want to reiterate the exciting news about our new office locations across our district. My main district office is now located in Lebanon Borough. We're also launching new satellite offices in Bridgewater and Clark, ensuring that every resident in NJ7 has access to federal assistance right in their own neighborhood. We will also be continuing our satellite offices in Mount Olive, in Hopatcong, and Washington Borough in Warren County. Basing our main office in Lebanon Borough positions it in a perfectly centralized location to major highways like I-78 and U.S. 22, and it makes it much easier for residents in every one of our 6 counties to connect with our team. These 6 offices allow our team to offer hands-on help with federal agencies, resources, and benefits. A congressional office should feel like it's in your corner. And for us, that means literally being down the street. Stay tuned to our website and to our social media for the full schedule of in-district office hours and upcoming town halls across the district. I will now be turning it back to the moderator so we can take your questions. If you'd like to ask a question, press star 3 right now and to be added to the queue. Thank you again all for taking the time to tune in this Tuesday afternoon, and I look forward to taking your questions.
Thank you very much, Congressman. And as the Congressman just mentioned, as we transition into the Q&A portion of this event, you can press star 3 to enter the question queue. He did not mention this, but it's very important and worth noting. The Congressman and his staff put out a very informative e-newsletter. You can get signed up to receive that during this call by simply pressing star 6. So again, to ask a question, press star 3. To get enrolled in the Congressman's informative e-newsletter, press star 6. Our first question comes from Allison from Clark, who says, Republicans recently backed budget proposals that include stricter Medicaid work requirements and cuts to programs like SNAP. Many seniors and low-income families in Union County depend on these safety nets. Congressman, how will you protect vulnerable New Jerseyans from being unfairly hurt by these changes?
My priority is to protect Social Security, to protect Medicare, to protect Medicaid, and to protect SNAP for those who rely on these programs across our district and across our country. And that is what we have accomplished in our House-passed reconciliation bill. The 3 pillars of reforms to Medicaid. Number 1, no tax dollars for illegal aliens. Number 2, checking eligibility twice a year. Number 3, opportunity commitments to pursue an education, to work a job, to volunteer for a cause for 20 hours a week. Any continued waste, fraud, and abuse is a direct threat to the mission of these vital programs. As our work on government spending continues, I want to continue to be clear. I support protecting Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP for those who rely on these vital safety net programs across this district and across this country.
So for everybody that's joined us for this event, this is an opportunity to hear from you. We have the ability to do polling questions, and all you need to do is use your telephone keypad to reply. So I've got a question for you that I'd like your input on, please. Do you support work requirements for Medicaid recipients who are able-bodied individuals in between the ages of 18 and 64 with no dependents? Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you are unsure. Again, do you support work requirements for Medicaid recipients who are able-bodied individuals in between the ages of 18 and 64 with no dependents? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 if you're unsure. I see folks are keying in their response. Thank you very much. Let's get back to another question. This one from Gregory in New Providence. There's been talk about eliminating or slashing federal funding for environmental cleanups. Given New Jersey's long history of Superfund sites and industrial pollution, how will you fight to make sure our communities don't become the next environmental disaster zone?
Thank you, Gregory. I have long believed that we need to protect our environment for the next generation. In fact, I met my wife Rhonda in the 1990s when we were both working at the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. It is important that we have clean air, clean soil, and clean water. I fully support a robust Superfund and brownfield cleanup efforts in New Jersey. These programs are essential to safeguard public health. Polluters and bad actors must be held accountable so that taxpayers are not left with the costs. The commitment that I can make to you this afternoon is I will continue to work across the aisle to protect our communities from environmental hazards. Thank you.
So if you've got a question, please press star 3 on your telephone keypad to enter the question queue. And you can get signed up to receive the Congressman's e-newsletter during this event by pressing star 6. Now, with all those button pushes, I'm going to try and do another poll question. So please listen closely and again use your telephone keypad to respond. Do you support a Medicaid reform that bans illegal aliens from taking Medicaid benefits? Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you're unsure. Again, looking for your input, so everybody that's listening in, please use your telephone keypad. Do you support a Medicaid reform that bans illegal aliens from taking Medicaid benefits? Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you are unsure. Now let's get back to questions. And this one comes from Theo in Clinton Township. You've spoken about government ethics and transparency, yet many New Jersey voters are concerned about the influence of billionaires like Elon Musk being tied into federal government efficiency plans. How do you ensure that corporate power doesn't override the interests of everyday New Jerseyans?
Thank you, Theo. My focus is always on New Jersey families, not on any kind of special interests. I support strict transparency and accountability anytime that something like the federal government is awarding a contract or partnering with the private sector. I've written several pieces of legislation on both the state and the federal levels that help prevent conflicts of interest and undue corporate influence in different ways. There should be a bipartisan consensus that fair competition and decision-making that is based solely on merit and what is in the best interest of the public is crucial. So to address your question on contracts, we need to ensure that the federal programs are open, they're competitive, and focus on results, not favoritism. Thank you.
Congressman, our next question comes from Jerry in White House Station. Question is, with new tariffs being discussed again, especially those affecting imported goods, how will you protect New Jersey's small businesses and port jobs, particularly at Port Newark and Elizabeth, from potential fallout on price increases?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I support smart, targeted tariffs that defend U.S. industries without endangering our ports, our small businesses, or our supply chains. I have had a dialogue with local businesses, with port operators, and labor leaders to anticipate the impacts and to craft proactive solutions. I've said previously that the tariff structure is right as it is, as this can be a great negotiating tool. I will also add that a calibrated, strategic use, not one that's sweeping or blanket in nature, is a positive approach. I regularly meet with port stakeholders, such as union leaders and small business owners, to monitor any kind of effects in real time. My priority is always to protect New Jersey jobs and New Jersey families. Thank you.
It is great to see so many people active and participating in this live telephone town hall. If you've got a question, please press star 3 to enter the question queue. And our next question, Congressman, comes from Brian in Flemington, who says New Jersey families remain deeply concerned about rising health care costs. Beyond stopping waste and fraud, what proactive steps are you taking to make quality health care, including prescription drugs and mental health services, more affordable in our state?
The most significant item that I'm working on in that regard, Brian, is PBM reform. We need to cut out the middleman to reduce prescription prices for patients. In the state Senate and now in Congress, I've been a vocal supporter of funding for community health centers and telehealth to make sure that more care is convenient and affordable. And we need to I was a sponsor of a 2020 law to help limit out-of-pocket prescription drug expenses for New Jersey families. I also sponsored on the state level the Mental Health Parity Act, which required health insurance to provide coverage for mental health conditions and substance abuse disorder under the same terms and the conditions as provided for any other sickness. I am committed to practical, bipartisan steps that will lower health care costs without sacrificing quality. Thank you.
So let's do another quick poll question. You all have been great about responding, so continue to use your telephone keypad to let us know your thoughts on this question. Do you believe that members of Congress and their spouses should be banned from engaging in trading practice of short selling, essentially betting on the failure of American companies? Please press 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 if you're unsure. So that question again, do you believe that members of Congress and their spouses should be banned from engaging in the trading practice of short selling, essentially betting on the failure of American companies? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 if you are unsure. Right, next, Congressman, Shannon's asking, as the border crisis continues, what's your position on balancing stronger border enforcement with ensuring fair treatment for legal immigrants, including the many immigrant families who've made New Jersey their home and contribute to our economy?
The fact is, if we do not have a secure border, we do not have a secure country. I do thank President Trump for finally securing our border, and we can see that illegal boarding crossings are down below the lowest levels in over 5 years. The President's strategy is working here. We also passed the very important Laken-Riley Act, which mandates that the federal government detention of illegal aliens who are arrested or who are charged with crimes such as burglary, assaulting a police officer, or crimes resulting in the death or serious bodily injury. I believe in strong, comprehensive border enforcement to protect New Jersey and the nation. We in the House took action on H.R. 2 last Congress, and now, again, we are taking significant steps in this current House reconciliation bill. For me, the key is to get through permanent border measures that ensure safety and discourage illegal crossings. The work that ICE is doing on a daily basis to remove criminal illegals is also vital to our country maintaining law and order. I am a firm advocate for due process, of course. And along with that, we must make sure that we enforce the laws of this country and enforce them equally.
All right, everybody, don't let me down now. This is another poll question for you. You've been so good about responding. Thank you for participating. Again, use your telephone keypad to provide your response. The question is, do you approve of Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, and a strategy to deport criminal illegal aliens? Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you are unsure. Do you approve of Immigration and Customs Enforcement's strategy to deport criminal illegal aliens? Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you're unsure. People are responding. Thank you. And don't forget, if you've got a question you'd like to ask, please press star 3 to enter the question queue. Again, star 3 if you have a question for Congressman Kean. Congressman, our next question comes from Tina in Summit. You've championed bipartisan work before. In this divisive political environment, what issues like veteran services, infrastructure, or public safety do you see as real opportunities for Republicans and Democrats to work together for the good of New Jersey?
Thank you, Tina, for that question. And I believe that we can find bipartisan solutions on the issues that you mentioned, as well as many others. Legislation that's handled in a bipartisan way are the ones that stand the test of time and bring people together. And that's why I joined the Problem Solvers Caucus when I got to Congress just over 2.5 years ago. And I now continue to work on a bipartisan basis to get common sense things done, such as protecting minors from the dangers of AI use on social media. We, in the Problem Solvers Caucus, proved last Congress that we can make a big impact on larger legislation when we were credited with developing the framework in April of 2023 to keep the federal government open. At the end of the day, I can tell you that New Jerseyans don't care whether an idea comes from the left or comes from the right. That is my approach in Congress every day. Reach across the aisle, find the common ground, and deliver the very real solutions that make government work better for everyone. If we lead with principle and listen with respect, there is nothing that we can not accomplish together. Thank you.
So our next question comes from Scott in Fanwood. Congressman, many of us worry about crime in our communities, especially as police recruitment in our towns gets harder. What are you doing to support local law enforcement and make sure they have the resources they need to protect our neighborhoods?
Thank you, Scott. I strongly support giving police the resources, the training, and the tools that they need to do their jobs safely and effectively. I've worked to expand grants to help local departments hire and keep good officers in our communities. On community project funding, I've successfully delivered $5 million for new emergency centers both in Scotch Plains as well as Raritan Borough. I'm currently fighting to deliver millions of dollars for 8 municipal police departments in the current fiscal year, and I will certainly keep you updated on our success in that regard. I believe in applying the law equally and holding criminals fully accountable for their actions. I support community policing and partnerships to strengthen trust and keep families safe. I oppose any effort to defund the police. Public safety must always be a top priority.
So I encourage everyone that's listening in right now to press *6 on their telephone keypad to get signed up to receive the very informative e-newsletter that the Congressman and his staff put out. Again, to get subscribed to the e-newsletter, please press *6. Congressman, Tony from Bedminster says, you've been leading voice on restoring the full SALT deduction for New Jersey families, but nothing has changed yet. Can you explain what, if anything, you are doing to get this done?
Thank you. For years, I've been a vocal advocate for restoring the SALT deduction. It is a key issue of affordability for the constituents of New Jersey. In fact, last Congress, I was the only member of the New Jersey delegation that voted against the bipartisan tax package only because it did not include any SALT relief within its provisions. This Congress, I helped craft the SALT deal that would deliver tens of thousands of dollars of tax relief for middle-income families. I stood up to my own party. I stood up to the Senate, and I'm working, trying to get our two senators, Cory Booker and Andy Kim, to help me in this regard. My $40K deduction is the right deal. It restores the full SALT deduction for every middle-class family in New Jersey. I will not take my eye off this ball. Just like I focus on making sure that the President Biden signed the Firefighters bill last cycle and last Congress into law, I will continue to fight to make sure this gets through the Senate and signed by the President.
We're talking SALT. Let's go ahead and do a poll question, drilling down on that a little bit. The question we're looking for everybody that's on the line to respond to is, would a heightened $40,000 SALT cap with a household income cap of $500,000 put more money back in your pocket at tax time? Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you're unsure. That question again, would a heightened $40,000 SALT cap with a household income cap of $500,000 put more money back in your pocket at tax time? Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you're unsure. see folks are keen in the response. Thank you very much. And don't forget, if you've got a question, please press *3 to enter the question queue. Again, to ask a question, please press *3. Our next question comes from Marshall in Green Township, who says, I come from a union household. How are you supporting union apprenticeship programs and ensuring that infrastructure and manufacturing investments come to our local workers and not out-of-state U.S. Chamber of Commerce contractors?
Thank you, Marshall, for your question. And I'm a strong supporter of union apprenticeship programs. I see them as vital pathways to good-paying, skilled jobs for New Jersey workers. I will fight to ensure that infrastructure and manufacturing investments include strong Buy American and higher local provisions. Bad actors also need to be held accountable to New Jersey standards, and regulators need to push back against anyone that tries to bypass our local laws. Good partnerships between organized labor and community leaders lead to expanded job opportunities and strengthen our state's middle class. Thank you.
All right, everybody. I would like to say thank you for participating and providing us responses for our poll questions. And I'm going to lean on you again with another question. Please use your telephone keypad to reply. Do you believe major infrastructure investment projects, such as those at Newark Airport and railways across New Jersey, should be done with union labor? Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, press 3 if you're unsure. That question again. Do you believe major infrastructure investment projects, such as those at Newark Airport and railways across New Jersey, should be done with union labor? Please press 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 if you are unsure. Thank you very much for participating. Let's get back to another question. This one comes from Elizabeth in Basking Ridge. New Jersey has one of the highest costs of living in the nation. What are you doing in Congress to make sure federal tax spending and regulatory policies ease the burden on middle-class families in our state?
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that question. I am committed to balancing responsible spending with fiscal discipline to ensure long-term economic stability for New Jersey. Fighting to lower taxes for New Jersey families, whether it's vital SALT relief or focusing on to help small businesses keep more money in their pockets, is also a priority of mine. We need to be energy secure. We need an all of the above except offshore wind energy strategy. We need to advocate for smarter federal investments in infrastructure, in education, and workforce development that helps us create jobs while reducing our living costs. I support regulatory reforms that cut red tape, and I help small businesses grow without sacrificing safety or quality. Thank you.
And our next question comes from Jonathan in Bridgewater, who says, our state depends on good transportation systems to keep people and goods moving. What federal resources are you helping to bring home to fix New Jersey's roads, bridges, and rail lines like New Jersey Transit and the Gateway Tunnel?
Thank you for that question. New Jersey and this district is an infrastructure and innovation district and state. And I am working to secure robust federal funding for New Jersey's roads, bridges, and critical rail projects. I support bipartisan infrastructure bills that deliver long-term investments to modernize and expand our transportation networks. I-80 is now reopened. I brought in the U.S. DOT and the U.S. Small Business Administration to help prepare the infrastructure and help small businesses to survive the economic downturn that was caused by the interstate closures. Newark Airport runways are reopened, and I'm working on modernizing critical control infrastructure, of which there is $12.5 billion for funding for air traffic control modernization in the reconciliation bill. We need to support the Gateway project and see it through to completion. I supported that on the state level, and now on the federal level. It's a national security issue as well. We need to make sure we have a one-seat ride on the Raritan Valley line as well, and that New Jersey Transit funds the Hunter Flyover project. We can make New Jersey a national model for infrastructure, for innovation, as well as for reliability. Thank you.
So, Congressman, I'm being told that is all the time we have for the questions today, and that we need to start to wrap up this call. But I want to make sure that I give you some time for some final thoughts, please.
Thank you to everyone who joined this afternoon's telephone town hall. It was great to hear from all of you and to answer as many thoughtful and engaged questions as we could. I'm happy that the now 10 telephone town halls that we have hosted have been so productive and so informative. I keep your questions, your feedback, and your ideas in mind as I do this job every day. I will continue hosting these calls as yet another way to stay connected with you as I work on your behalf in Congress. Your priorities will always be my priorities, whether I'm in Washington, D.C. or back home. Once again, thank you for joining me, and stay safe.
Thank you very much, Congressman, as well as your staff for putting this event together. And a huge thank you to everybody for joining today's telephone town hall with Congressman Tom Kean. If you'd like to stay up to date on the Congressman's work, you can follow him on Facebook at Congressman Kean. If you'd like to subscribe to his e-newsletter at this point in the call, just stay on the line and leave us your name and email address after the tone. Thanks again for taking part in today's event. We hope you stay healthy and safe and have a great day. This concludes our call. Goodbye.